Good morning, everyone. Hello. I hope you're well. We have a very exciting morning lined up for everyone. Before I get started, I'll introduce myself. I'm Chrissa. I'm the founder of Sunshine Support, and I'm your host this morning. And today we have a very special guest. Sophia from Spectrum Holidays is here to share her expertise on making holidays accessible and enjoyable for our children with additional needs, because we know that's really, really tricky. Morning, Sophia. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And thanks for letting me join your live this morning.
Oh, no, it's an absolute honor for me to have you here. I absolutely love you guys. Love you. How are things with you?
Good, thank you. Good. It's nice to have a little bit of time this morning to do this because you can imagine pretty busy. But yes, yeah, really good. Thank you.
Good, good. And the heat is okay all the way up there?
It is here. So we're based in Northumberland, just for those who don't know. But yeah, yesterday was we still I think we hit 30 degrees. And this morning it's much better. I think we're at 17 at the moment. Much
That's normal. That's normal British weather. Like
in
summer
hope.
should not go over 20.
No, I agree, agree. I don't really do heat very well. So yeah, I'm happy with this today.
I can't cope with it. It got up to about 36 here yesterday, and they reckon today's going to be about 28.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
no.
So yeah, I don't know the rest of the week. I think it's going to get warmer, but I'm happy today. So yeah.
Well, I'm really excited to chat to you today, because I am very lucky because I have actually had a holiday with you guys, and it was like nothing I've ever experienced before. It really wasn't. Like, you take tailor-made holidays to a whole new level. And obviously we're going to explore that today, but for those watching, write down Spectrum Holidays. If you've never heard of Spectrum Holidays or you're not following them on socials, make that your business today to seek them out and have a look at what they do. We're going to talk about it today, but I just want to say, as a family, I've got 4 kids. There's 6 of us all together, obviously with me and my husband. We've all got different needs. There's a lot of what I like to say spice in the family, neurospicy. Um, and that makes things difficult sometimes because you've got conflicting needs. But I mean, I know that we're going to come on to this anyway, but I must say the amount of effort that went into making our holiday right for everybody in our little group was like I've never experienced it before or after. It's absolutely amazing. It's better than what I could have done for myself. You asked questions that I didn't even think about that I was like, oh my God, that's going to make the whole world a difference knowing that stuff. So today's discussion, everyone, is making you all feel seen, less alone. Because I think as somebody who, I mean, I've been a send parent now for over 2 decades. Oh my God, I feel old. But I felt very alone. I felt like, why can we not just do this? Why is it my family that has to go without? Why can we not just manage a holiday? Everybody on Facebook's on holiday. So I hope that this video, this live stream, makes everybody feel less alone and perhaps more empowered with some practical tips and knowing that it is possible. So, whether you're a parent, you're a carer, an educator, you know, and you're supporting people, maybe planning a holiday can be really, really daunting, but there are ways to make it a wonderful experience. So, Sophia, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about Spectrum?
Yes, of course. So yes, I'm Sophia, and my husband and I co-founded Spectrum Holidays 5 years ago now, I think. And that's based on our experiences of trying to holiday when our son was small. So we had attempted holidays from Luca being maybe 3, and they just never went well. So the first one we tried, I think we went to a holiday home, like a holiday cottage it was. And I think so Luca is nearly 15 now. So even back then there wasn't, yes, you would have kind of a website with some basic information that generally might be okay for a family without children that have additional needs, but there just wasn't the information that we would need. I would need to know kind of exactly what was around, even like were there any streams, any bodies of water close by or anything like that, just so we could prepare Luca because water was a thing. So there just wasn't that information. But anyway, we would go. We went to the holiday home, and I think to Luca, maybe he thought that it was going to be exactly the same as his house, and that everything from his house might be in that holiday home, and obviously that wasn't the case. It was very different, and there was only so much we could prepare him with, because there's only so much information that we could get from from a website or even from a holiday homeowner back then. And so over the years, I think that I don't even think we lasted a night there. I think overnight we ended up coming home, and we tried again. We tried a hotel. I don't know why I thought that would be better, because it was actually worse. And we lasted about three hours, I think, there. And so we tried and tried over the years, and then it was just too stressful. And it was like, actually, it's putting more stress on us as a family, Luca. And that's not what a holiday is supposed to be. So we're just going to stay home, like for the foreseeable. We'll just stay at home. And then as he got a bit older, we thought we'll try again, but realistically, where, like what and where. And I think the only thing we hadn't tried was a caravan holiday. And it's not something that I'd experienced when I was younger either. I'd never gone on a caravan holiday, so it was kind of new to me. But my husband had. So I was like, this could potentially be a recipe for disaster, but we're going to do it anyway. So we went, and actually he was great and he loved it. And I don't know whether it was because it was contained, but he kind of still had his own space. I don't know. It wasn't something that he was able to communicate at the time. But that was a start of holidays again for us. And then I think we kind of got into the realms of, it was like a military operation every time we went on holiday, because we'd have to take so many things, all of his sensory equipment, and he was into just so many different things. Like, he had a massive thing about sea creatures, and every single sea creature that we owned had to come with us. And then it was trains, and it was something else, and it was like, oh, like 17 bags, and only one of those was clothes, So we're like, how realistic are we going to do? So we had a chat, Mal and I, and we were like, why don't we maybe look at buying a caravan, and then we can just put everything in it, and we don't have to carry a million bags with us. So that's what we did. And we purchased a holiday home, and we set it up with, initially just for Luca, because he was the only one using it at the time, with things that would help him. And he attended a special school. He still attends a special school, but the one that he attended, he would kind of get transport to and from, which is common, but it means that we didn't necessarily have that kind of connection with parents at school gates and things like that. But we did have some meetings set up from school, so they would arrange kind of like parent groups that we would go to, and the common theme was holidays. What do we do? And we were like, well, actually, we have a holiday home, if that's something you want to kind of look at. And so really Spectrum Holidays started then, and we would kind of rent the caravan out to other families with autistic children, and then we started adapting the van for other families to use, and it kind of went from there. So we launched Spectrum Holidays as a business initially, about 5 years ago, and purchased a second unit, so we had 2 caravans, adapted them, so we kind of cut holes and everything and stuck bubble walls in and lights and things, and kind of went like that for 3 years, or for 2 years, sorry. And then we were getting contacted from families around the UK who couldn't make that journey up to Northumberland, where our caravans are. The journey was obviously too long for their children, or they couldn't accommodate, or we couldn't accommodate kind of the needs that their children had in terms of the security features that the caravan just can't provide. So essentially, because of what it is and fire laws and regulations, we can't restrict doors and windows, and that was a big kind of thing for a lot of families. So we sat down, Mal and I, and we're like, what can we do? Like, we were restricted in what we could do with the caravans, and we were like, well, actually, there are thousands probably of holiday homes around the UK that are fine for our families to use. They are brilliant locations, lovely holiday homes, but with just a little bit of support, our families can also access those holiday homes. So that's when we expanded Spectrum Holidays, and we contacted lots of holiday homeowners, explained who we were and what we wanted to do and could they help. And so that's where our Spectrum partners come in. So we are able to offer holiday homes around the UK, so from Cornwall to Scotland. And we provide those holiday homes with a Spectrum pack, we call it. So it's a pack of sensory resources, there's some visual resources in there, sensory toys, handheld toys, blackout blinds, all those type of things. So that families can use those. You can create like a sensory room, because you can make the room dark in any room in that house or in that whatever that holiday home is, for a calm space for a child should they need it. So where we are now, we transitioned into a charity 2 years ago. I think this is our second year now, because we wanted to be able to offer more to our families than we could as a business. So Malcolm and I made the decision to work voluntarily for Spectrum. So we're volunteers now. We still do the same job. Obviously, it is a full-time job, and we love it. And it's why we made the decision to do that. So we work other jobs, and we work Spectrum as well. And the idea is that we continuously now fundraise, apply for funding so that we can offer subsidised holidays throughout the holiday homes on our website, for families that would be eligible for that help.
That is just incredible. So like to go from knowing that you had this difficulty, you all want to experience a nice holiday together, and you tried all the usual stuff that was usual to you, and then the one thing that you'd never tried, running,
I know.
just happened to be the thing that opened up this brand new world. And to go from having one caravan for just the family to how many homes do you have in your partners now?
So I think now we're at 15 partners, and we have access to around 130 holiday homes, because some of those are holiday parks, with different types of like lodges or caravans on that. So it's about 130 throughout the UK, as I say, from Cornwall up to Scotland. There are obviously some areas of the country that we still need to cover, and we are working on it. But yeah, that's kind of, as we talk now, that's where we are.
And I think like you've highlighted a good difficulty there, and we're going to talk about the difficulties and challenges, but there's a lot of wasted cost, isn't there, in when we go back to your story, so before Spectrum Holidays was a thing, looking at your story, sort of going on these holidays, trying a hotel, paying for it, realizing this isn't going to work out. I've done that and traveled
Yeah.
home at 1 and 2 in the morning before. Um, there's such a lot of wasted cost. And I mean, I always talk about send parent tax because there's so much of this. It's not just holidays, there's lots of things that we try and we go, oh, that's just not going to work out for our family. And it costs us a fortune and we waste a load of money. Um, but I think this is just fantastic because you've tried and tested your own service. And, talk to me about and let everybody know, because I actually know the answer to this, but what sets the Spectrum holidays and the partners apart from like a regular holiday home? What is it that makes them a partner? What is it that you're looking for? How do you screen them?
So it's so broad, that one. So I think that's the question we get asked a lot. Well, what does our holiday home have to have? And actually, because no one child is the same, regardless of whether they're autistic or not, there are so many options. So what's a holiday home? I always say when we talk about it, there isn't like a one size fits all when it comes to holiday homes, because what's right for one family or my family is not going to work for another family. So what we do say is it's really beneficial to have something like so Wi-Fi is also a huge thing. So if we're preferable, we like holiday homeowners to provide Wi-Fi, because it's we know how important that is.
Oh, yeah.
But generally, we get contacted by holiday homeowners and we initially have a conversation with them. Can you tell me a little bit about your holiday home? Where is it? Like, what is it? And then we'll do our kind of research at home about that. And then the really important thing is that we'll arrange to visit that holiday home. So every holiday home that we list on our website, we've been there. We take Luca down with us, who's our son, and he kind of gives his opinion on the holiday homes. It's obviously very central to Luca. He doesn't really concern himself with how anybody else might like the holiday home, but it gives us a good insight into how he feels. So we visit those holiday homes, and we really like to have a close relationship with the holiday home owners. I think that's really important. So we spend a lot of time talking to them about, obviously you can never cover the subject of autism in one meeting. However, we do kind of try and have those conversations about actually, yes, a holiday home can be really stressful for the autistic person, whether that's a child or an adult, but also for other family members, so parents, siblings. And the ideal is that we make a holiday accessible to the whole family so that they can, where possible, holiday together. And so by kind of explaining the worries that our families might have, parents might have, by explaining the anxieties that the autistic person could have, and generally our holiday home owners are all amazing, and they will all be really open to what can we do. Is there anything that we can put into the holiday homes? Is there anything extra that we're able to do? And we find now that we're a couple of years in that actually we're getting contacted by holiday home owners that either have lived experience of autism, or they work maybe in special schools, or they work supporting autistic adults, and they want to actively be kind of involved in making holidays more accessible, which is amazing for us. And for the families that stay, they feel kind of less anxiety around the worries about, because we've all kind of had that, people looking at my child differently, and that worry and that anxiety. So if we can lessen that, then that can only help kind of all families.
Absolutely. And I think it's that open-mindedness, isn't it? Because let's be fair, in society in general, you're going to get people who just aren't open-minded, and that extends to, holiday homeowners. Um, but at the same time, if they're open in having that discussion with you, and also for Luca, because even though, yes, okay, he is looking at it from his point of view, actually, I'm sure that he's incredibly honest in his point of view as well, which really helps you because if he's not getting a good vibe or he's seeing something that he thinks, no, that's an issue, the chances are it's going to be an issue for someone else as well. But if somebody's open-minded to make things flexible and inclusive, that's half the battle anyway, getting people to sort of open their minds and think that way.
Yeah.
So if I was coming then to one of the Spectrum properties, what would I expect? What does the journey look like from booking to arriving?
Yeah, so I think where we differ probably from any other kind of holiday provider is the amount of time we spend talking to families. It's quite daunting, especially if you've never been on holiday with your family before, or if you haven't had a great experience before. It's quite daunting thinking, where do you start? So we spend a lot of time talking to families, making sure that they have all the information about the holiday home they need. Obviously, we've got the website there, but because we visited those holiday homes, we've got a bit more knowledge about, well, actually, I can tell you exactly what's around there. I can tell you how that works. And so we have those conversations, making sure that the family, like the parents are happy, or the carers are happy, or whoever it is that's booking that holiday. And then we'll go through kind of the normal booking process. We do kind of, I would imagine, like most holiday, we do understand that cost is also a factor when it comes to accessible holidays. And whereas we can control our costs a little more with our charity-owned holiday homes, which is the caravans that we have in Northumberland, the prices of the other holiday homes are set by the holiday home owners, which is obviously where the element of funding comes in. So once we get through that booking process, we also email out to the family. We email out what we call a visual resources questionnaire. So there's two options of those. So we provide, essentially, we design and produce visual resources for families who would like them. So they are a short kind of visual story, or long, actually, depending on what your child needs or wants. So in the questionnaire, there'll be a little section that you can fill in if you just want a shorter story, or more of a one they can fill in for a longer story. And that is based on, that story is introducing the fact that you are going on holiday to the autistic person. So this is what a holiday is. This is where you are staying, and this is what it looks like. So obviously there's pictures included in that with the symbols. And then as much information about the holiday home as we can. So lots of pictures of the inside. This is your bedroom. This is where you're staying. And we also ask the parent or carer to let us know about any particular worries or anxieties that person may have. And we'll work that into the story. So we'll ask, any particular anxieties, how does that child or person manage those anxieties, and we'll work that into the story so that that can be shared as holiday preparation before the holiday. So generally a few weeks before. We find if it's longer than 2 weeks, that produces more anxiety, so we try to keep it down to just 2 weeks. And we'll also send out a little kind of holiday countdown calendar, so you can either print those off, we send them electronically, or we can post them out, and they're laminated with a little pen, and they're specific to the child. So we'll ask the parent or carer what their child's interest is, and I've done some very strange calendar designs in the past few years, which I love because they're never two the same. So they've got some, pictures on about what the child might like, and a pen, and they can just cross off the days as they count down towards the day of their holiday. So they're slightly more prepared in that way. And then we'll contact them the day of the holiday, make sure they have everything that they need. And then once they get to the holiday home, there will be that Spectrum pack waiting for them. So again, parents or carers can use that however they feel best. A lot of times it is kind of used to make a dark down, because we put one of those grow blinds, I'm pretty sure everybody will know what they are, blackout blinds, so that they're not damaging the holiday home, but they will pretty much fit on any size window, and make the room darker so that you can use those light up toys that we provide. We've got infinity mirrors and all that kind of stuff in a box, with some handheld things as well. And that's for families to use however they wish. And we also provide a folder of visual resources. So we'll include some PEX cards that are specific to the different holiday homes, because the ones that we've got in the caravans won't work in a cottage in Lincolnshire, for example. So there's those, and there's also like a key ring, now next and later cards that we provide, so you can take that out into the area with you wherever you're visiting that day, and you can load it up with the symbols that you would need, so that you can constantly kind of remind your child what's happening that day, so it kind of lessens a bit of that anxiety. So they're included in every Spectrum pack that we have.
Amazing. I mean, there's so much there that I think, even as a parent, a seasoned parent, I would forget when it comes to the holiday. Like, it becomes part of your everyday life, and bits in school, bits with transition between home and school. But then it's almost like everything kind of falls apart. I mean, I don't know whether it's because I'm neurodivergent and I think, oh, I'm in a different place, therefore different rules apply. But you've covered so much there. And I remember when I walked we had one of your caravans, and it was Halloween, and you'd messaged me before, and we designed this sensory pack for every child. And you'd said to me, do you think they might want to do pumpkin carving? And I said, oh yeah, absolutely. That was all set up on the table the minute we walked in, and the girls were like, oh wow, let's get started. They were so excited. It was like instant, and it really helped them to overcome that transition into a new place. And then, to sort of describe what there was the egg chair, which was brilliant, because then you can really tuck yourself away and they could be on their little switch or whatever. Then there was that sensory wall with all the sequins, and they absolutely loved writing messages on there. And then one of the things that my girls, I know, particularly my twins, I've got twins the twin girls, but one is like all the girliness, like she's like a walking unicorn. And the other one, a lot of people think is a boy because she's got short hair. She's often on Facebook Lives and stuff. She's quite loud. Well, not so much loud, but very honest and vocal. But she has short hair. She dresses in boys' clothes. I hate the clothes are separated into boys and girls, but there we go. So of course, when you go to places like that and you're like, it's a girl's bedroom, then it tends to be quite girly. But you'd messaged me before and said, what are they into? And if I remember correctly, in true form, one of the twins had a unicorn bed,
Yeah.
and the other one had like Marvel or something like that.
So
And
yeah.
it was just
Yeah.
amazing because they felt like it was their little space, so tailored.
And that was the idea. So as we've got more freedom in our charity-owned holiday homes, obviously, so, which are the sensory caravans in Northumberland. So they are on a haven park, they are on a quieter area. So the area they're on is a small cul-de-sac. It's mostly owners that are around there. I think there's like 3 haven vans. So it's really good, and the owners are that are around us. Our neighbours are fab. Like they've donated bikes and scooters to the kids that stay, and they'll always come and say hi. Like they're lovely. So the caravans are together. They are next door to each other, and we have had families stay before who have had to separate, but it means that they can holiday together. And it was really important that we made it a bit of a home from home, and so children were excited to come and stay. And so we do offer themed bedrooms in there. I think we started with 3, and I think we've got like 1 million now. So we have a lot. So yeah, Unicorn, Harry Potter, Thomas, Peppa Pig. Peppa is the most popular theme. So yeah, and I think recently we also made a bit of a change to the caravan. So I say we, it was definitely Mal who did all the hard work. So we, about 2 years ago, in our kind of original van, we had added a safe space bed. So we know that there are families that need that consideration when they're going on holiday. And I'm not sure if there are any. I think there might be another one holiday home maybe that offers a kind of a full safe space bed. I don't think any caravans have, but that's because we have to adapt the room. So we had the room adapted to fit the safe space, so we can offer a safe space Voyager compact to any family that require one. It's a scaffolded huge piece of equipment, so we build that. We build that for the families. We have to remove beds, and we put this scaffolded bed up. And then recently, because we hadn't adapted the second caravan to fit one, but we recently had 2 bookings in that both requested the safe space bed. So we were like, well, we'll adapt that one as well. Wow. So we've adapted that second one, and again, I say we, but it was Mal who did all the bringing out of wardrobes and all that kind of stuff. So we can now offer both safe space beds in both caravans, and again we can theme those. So the rooms have lights in them, and when we say theme the room, so the bedding will be themed in whatever choice you make. The curtains, there's some pictures on the walls that will be themed, and toys. So we'll put some toys in there of, again, whatever theme that is. And that's included on the visual story that we send out. So hopefully it will kind of increase that excitement for the child. And yeah, so it's there ready for them to come in. And again, in October for Halloween, we'll generally get donations of pumpkins in from stores, so we'll put those in. We try and do the same with Easter. We'll try and set up Easter egg hunts when we can get the donations in. So yeah, so we do try and make them kind of as exciting and accessible as possible.
I love this. Like you cover so much, and the effort that you go to. And I want everybody to understand, right? We're all busy, right? So let's have a little look at you, Sophia. You are a send parent, you work full time, and you do this. This isn't just like what you dedicate your 24 hours of the day to. You have other pressing stuff. So when you're saying like you're taking wardrobes out to put the safe space bed in, that's like that's bonkers. That's
Yeah, we do think about that. We have to take the caravan offline, and we went up after work. So I work because we're volunteers. So when we made the transition to a charity, it was important to us that we were raising money for the charitable purpose rather than kind of paying wages and things like that. And that was a decision that we made. So we also can't not work because we all get that job. So we work full time. So I work in a school, an amazing little community school in Northumberland, and Mal is a driving instructor, and he teaches autistic adults to drive. So we go up to the caravans to do things like that. We'll do that after work. So sometimes we're there at 9 and 10 o'clock at night, which Luca loves, because for some reason he thinks he's going to be off school the next day. He's just kind of not. But he still loves a bit of a nighttime trip to Haggy, as he calls it. So yeah, so that we kind of fit in where we can. We don't, as a family, take holidays really, because we need to be around for the families that we are helping to have holidays in. So it has been a big change for us. It's a big kind of life change, and we are constantly busy, and I feel sometimes at 45 I should be slowing down, but I feel like I'm constantly going and doing and getting busier and busier. But we do love it, and we are so passionate about it, because families, you shouldn't be restricted on going on holiday, because your child needs a little bit more support, and if we can help and we can offer that support, then we're happy, and that's what we do, and that's what we're here for.
I'm going to say something a bit controversial. People might hate me for it, but I don't care. Right, we see really ridiculous um, awards being given out. Not ridiculous awards, brilliant awards to people who genuinely don't earn it. Um, I think that you should be having some kind of MBE or OBE for the level of dedication you are giving to our community. Like, I'm quite choked up, Sophia. Like, this is your life's work. Like, what a legacy to leave behind. It's absolutely incredible.
Thank
Do you
you.
ever sit, I'm going to go off topic a little bit now. Do you ever sit and take stock of what you've achieved for other people?
um I think yeah, I think the thing is, we're always thinking there's more that we can be doing, and I think when we do get some time to sit and think about things, it's things like that. So when we turned into a charity, we obviously have a board of trustees now, and it's really important that the people on our board, brought more experiences with them, things that we wouldn't have thought about, because Luca might not have those challenges, or we've not had that experience with him. So the people on our board, we've got a head teacher who is Senko and has two autistic children. And again, her autistic children experience life differently to Luca, so she brings in kind of fresh set of eyes. And another who has a child with really complex medical needs and is autistic. So, all of those kind of experiences shape what we offer. And we also have the lovely Christine, who lots of people might know from the Life of Riley blog. She has a autistic non-verbal child, and again, her experiences are so different to ours with Luca. So if we can take everybody's experiences and try and bring that into what we offer, the services that we offer, what more can we do to help support that child or that person? So when we do get some downtime, generally that's kind of what we think about. But yeah, I mean, it's been amazing the last few years, and obviously we do get some really lovely feedback, which I love, and it's nice to be able to help families holiday, and some families that have never had a holiday before, and to
Yeah.
actually not just have a holiday but have a successful holiday, and that might look different to different families, and however that looks is fine, but to be able to come away after 2, 3, 4 days and be like, that was so good. And we have repeat families now, which stay 1, 2, 3 times a year, and that for us is definitely worth everything that we kind of do in our day-to-day life.
I love it. I love it. I don't think you probably realize, because you're very modest, what an impact you're having on other people. And despite having this incredible board of trustees, they've come together because of you. And I just think, like, if you ever get the opportunity to sit and like have a cry about what you've achieved in a good way, like, I'd recommend it. I'd recommend it. So just so that I don't make you cry, because I've got a habit of doing that to people in a good way. Um, what do you think? And I'm going to ask a question to those watching now. Please share with us what you think your big barriers are to having a holiday, your challenges. Please do share it in the comments, and I'm going to come to the comments in a section because I can see them going mad in the corner of my eye. Um, but what do you think, Sophia, are like the main challenges that families face when they're planning holidays with children with additional needs?
Well, I think that's a bit of a huge kind of topic, because it is so different for so many families. And generally, when we're talking to families, a lot is, to be fair, a lot is the worry, and the anxiety that going on holiday produces in, not, as I say, not just the child, but in the parents, in the rest of the families, trying to find a holiday home that can accommodate particular needs, so that we do always offer a safe place bed that gets sent out to other holiday homes as well, that can offer that kind of thing. Having that element of preparation, so the child is, or the person is, fully prepared for the stay, but that includes the family having all of that information as well. So there's so many considerations, like, and a lot of the times our families their children are autistic, but they also have medical, needs as well. So we're even having conversations about where the hospitals are in relation to the holiday home, things like that. Travel, not everybody can drive. How close is the holiday home? How do you get there? What does that look like for you? And kind of what are you then taking on holiday with you? If there's something that we can provide that makes that easier. So there's just it's a huge topic, isn't it? And I think it's just so personal to individual families as to what those anxieties are and what that looks like to you.
Absolutely. I'm going to see if we've had any comments come up about that. Oh, I don't know. It seems to be just telling me who's watching. Um, yeah, people are saying that they have a go-to place and they don't like moving from it, which is quite interesting. And that the journey can be part of the struggle, which of course, like you said, you started up north, but now you've got holiday homes all over the place. Um, there's some recommendations for you to check out in terms of perhaps putting them on your list of partners or
Okay,
recommended.
we love that. Yeah.
So I'll send those over. Um, Interesting. Somebody's said, first of all, it's amazing what you're doing, Sophia. She says, this is Emma. My eldest is 19 now and okay to stay at home on his own, so the rest of us can actually go away a week at a time. Thankfully, to my younger boys, they're okay. Thankfully, my younger boys are okay to travel as long as we do the work. Your holidays sound amazing and so supportive, not just for the child, but the whole family. And that's what you're saying. It's a holistic experience because if you've got a stressed out mum or
Yeah.
dad, you've got stressed out kids. Guess what? That's contagious.
Yeah.
So, um, and Belinda says, my 14-year-old son has gotten worse the older he's become, the traveling that causes him the most stress. We were talking about that before we came on air, weren't we? That one of my team, she finds that she has to holiday separately now if unless they can go abroad, because when they go abroad, as long as the plane seems to be okay because it's quite a novelty, and the country has to be hot so that they do the same activity every day, which is jump in the pool, get out, and then it's bed by 5 o'clock, so then they have to separate the family where mum stays with the daughter to go to bed early so that she can wind down because she really can't cope. And then the son, who doesn't have any additional needs, but is your typical Sen sibling, very, very kind and empathetic. He goes with dad down to the children's activities or whatever in the evening. But if they stay in this country, the dad and the son go away and they do their thing, and mum has to stay and have their holiday at home. So they do daily activities. But we're finding this more and more. And I think it's great the parents are finding that rather than try and stress out the whole family, sometimes that divide and conquer is the way, sadly, to do it. I know it's something I've done before. I've had to split all my children up, and well, not all my children, keep three together on one, do a separate holiday with the one. Rosemary says, my autistic child is 14 and sadly, we've never had a family holiday together. Do you know, Rosemary, reach out to Sophia over on our page because who knows what
Yeah.
might be possible,
Yeah. Definitely worth a conversation, and I'm happy to have that. Yeah.
definitely. And
I
one
think
of our, oh, go on, go on.
I was going to say we are very early talks with a company that actually provide kind of respite carers um, to kind of to help families that may need that extra support. So that is something that we are exploring at the moment. And I know there's a whole big thing around the funding for that, and but it is potentially something that we can offer in the future, where it's the carer would be paired with child, and the company that we're looking at the moment would facilitate that. But it's just another thing that might be able to help families to access a holiday.
That's a game changer.
No, I know, yeah.
Because let's be fair, it's so difficult to get a break.
Mm.
And for those who aren't send parents, I hear them all the time where they say, well, there's services for that. There isn't. Like, it's just not as widely available as you'd think. And I remember trying to use, what do they call it? Short breaks or something. And somebody said, oh, yeah, you could do an activity with an organization for an hour. And I thought, oh, by the time I drop her off and come home,
Yeah,
I was gone.
yeah.
So it was just not sort of it needs to be beneficial. It
Yeah.
needs to be meaningful, and this definitely would be. I've got another question. Oh, okay. Now this is a bit random, this, and this is going to be interesting. So Ellie asks, "Morning, ladies. How do we get our child on an aeroplane?" Little secret. Um, our son has extreme fear, and it's been impossible. Last time on a plane was 2018, then COVID hit. Um, right. Okay. So. mm, from my point of view, if a child becomes dysregulated, that's because their nervous system is telling them that something's dangerous and they don't like it. Now, when we break it down that way, we're going into a slightly different topic here because we talk about nervous system. We've got to sort of think to ourselves, if that was us and somebody was forcing us to do something that was making us that dysregulated, it could be possibly traumatizing. I mean, you just said extreme fear. Um, this needs to be therapeutically dealt with. I don't think putting a child on a plane when they have an absolute fear is going to be helpful to them, if I'm brutally honest, because that could be incredibly traumatizing. I see a lot of like stickers on cars and like stuff that people put in their houses where it says, we're an autistic family, expect meltdowns here. We do meltdowns here. Meltdowns aren't good. Meltdowns is the body shutting down, saying, I cannot cope with what I'm being told to go through right now. And what I noticed, when we came to Spectrum Holidays, what I noticed was we didn't have those meltdowns because everything was tailored and we'd done the social stories and there was lots of preparation work. And I found that it calmed the nervous system down. That's essentially what you're doing. You're saying that, there's nothing to be worried about. Look, I'm going to tell you everything. Whilst we're sat in our safe space now, in at our home, we're going to go through all this stuff and you can ask questions in whatever way that you ask questions, because some children are verbal, some children not, and some are in between. And I think it's really important that we as adults don't just continue to satisfy our needs for a holiday. I get it, honestly. I went without a holiday for so many years for a number of reasons. Number one, I was fighting an education battle and all my money was going into that. And number two, we just couldn't cope with it. We tried it and it didn't work. Um, and so we had to go without it. It was heartbreaking. I've actually been known to take myself off on a holiday by myself, nobody with me, no friends, no husband, no kids, just me. And I went to Spain for a couple of days just so I could get my heat and my pool. Because that's what I wanted, because I didn't want to put it on the kids and I didn't want to put it on everybody else. So, um, okay. Do you have any properties at Caton Bay at Scarborough Park Dean? As we have a holiday there, and it would be lovely for autistic families to go there, as you just sound brilliant.
Oh, well, thank you. No, we don't. Was a quick answer to that one. At that particular park, we don't. We do have holiday homes, kind of Lincolnshire, Nottingham. I'm trying to think where that is and where in relation we are. So down that side of the country, we do, but we not in that specific holiday home. Holiday park. We do have holiday parks on our website, just not that one. And as I say, our sensory caravans are at a haven, which is Haggerston Castle. I should also probably quickly mention just around the activities. I know you quickly mentioned before about kind of the activities with children and on holiday and things like that. So for all, we do have our vans on a haven site, and yes, it's a big site. It can get busy in summer holidays and things like that. Our caravans themselves are away from that area, so they're not near the complex. They are away from that. But as a charity, we are actually able to provide passes. So we only rent our caravans out to families that have autistic or children, or children, whatever age your children are, with neurological conditions. So we try and broaden that kind of, so we can rent out to as many families as we can that need the help. And so because of that, because of what we do, and because we're a charity, we are able to offer activity passes, so park passes, for free for our families. which apart from the cost of those, which can be up to £300 in the summer, which is just insane. The trouble around that is, do you spend that money when potentially your children aren't going to access those activities because they've done it before? It's, it's kind of a scary concept. There's other children there. So we have an amazing relationship with the guys at Haggiston. And they are so accommodating. They know our vans. They know if that our families may need a little bit extra support. And so the passes themselves are free, so you can try these activities. The passes we give also will give quite a big discount on those activities. So yes, you do have to purchase them, but you're spending a lot less on that in case your child isn't able to cope or to come away. We'll also give you access to the owners' facilities as well. So if you can't manage the busy kind of restaurant that they've got there, there's a very quiet owners' lounge up there, which is just next to our caravans, which is really quiet. There's a little play area outside. But also the activities team themselves are really helpful. And those conversations that we have with families, if that's one of their concerns, we can take that to the activities team. So look, we have a family who desperately want to try their children on these activities, but they're just really worried. Can you help? Is there a quieter time? Can we access an owner's swimming session or anything like that? So it's really helpful. And I think, yes, we can facilitate that. We can't facilitate that in every holiday home that we have on the website, but that's something we can facilitate in the sensory caravan. So just if families are kind of aware of that, then, it might help to kind of make that a bit easier.
My kids talk about that holiday all the time. The activities up there are brilliant. So Susanna says, my child always struggles in the first few days until he gets used to everything again. Although we always book the same lodge at the same park, he loves his trampoline at home, and to have an exercise trampoline would make a huge difference to him. We always stop at exactly the same place on the journey as well. Yeah, you see, it's consistency. And like you said, you have a lot of people now coming back because they'll have their routine, I guess. So it does feel like a home from home. Um, So Kate says, does this also apply with PDA? Let me just see what this is in relation to. Um, Oh, okay, because the resistance with PDA seems to be based in logic of being scared of something. Yeah, again, it's the nervous system. So I'm quite well versed with PDA because one of my children has got PDA. Um, and we've really got to look at the nervous system. So for anybody who wants to learn more about the therapeutic stuff that goes on before you could even start this process, we've got tons and tons and tons of short courses designed by parents for parents. And the by parents part, they're also professionals in the field. They're readily accessible. They're on demand right now. It's on the Sunshine Academy. If you want a link for the Sunshine Academy, where there's a whole community of people talking, by the way, so it's great. You can access our advocates there and stuff. Just pop in the comments Sunshine Academy and we'll send you a link because we can give you, there's loads and loads of training on there for PDA, how to manage PDA at home. Also looking at the nervous system and understanding why PDA is the way that it is, because it is all driven by anxiety. Um, and this is, I mean, one of my children has got PDA. That is the child that I had to separate away and do holidays on her agenda. And I must say it worked beautifully well. She helped me design them. It's all about autonomy. So actually, if your PDA is involved in the booking process, and designing it, you will probably find they're less resistant to it. But it is tricky because it's all down to the individual. But again, reach out to Spectrum, see if they can do something. I'm sure that they will be able to do something. Let me just see if there's any more comments on our Facebook feed, because I think I've addressed all the ones over on our YouTube channel. Oh, we've got loads on Facebook. Loads of people asking for more information. So our team have been sharing your page with them, which is brilliant. Again, lots of chat about routine. Um, Oh, okay. So the lady Ellie has come back about the aeroplane. It's something her son really wants to do. Ha! Now this changes everything because sometimes it's whether the parent wants to do it and whether the son wants to do it. Um, I think that this has to start with it has to start with the therapy beforehand. Now, I must say, you've noted here that you're thinking about going to France on the Eurostar. Also consider ferries. Those closest to me, I don't tend to talk about this publicly, but I don't mind for the purpose of today. Um, we some of my family, like I said, I've got to divide and conquer here. Um, some of the family love going on a foreign holiday. One of the family will not go on a plane. I'm not too bothered. I'm happy, but actually, with all the news just recently about aeroplanes, I'm really not fussed about going on aeroplanes. So I tend to find that we go on a ferry if we want to go on a big holiday. If we're going for more than 2 weeks, we go on a ferry. So we drive on and we take the car to wherever we're going. And I must say, my kids love it because the ferry becomes part of the holiday. Again, it's that routine. We book the all you can eat place, which seems expensive, but then you see what the kids eat and you go, I've just saved a fortune because my kids are gannets. They just don't stop eating. Um, and then they have their spaces on the actual ship. So we have to have two bedrooms because there's five of us, and we separate two in one. And I tend to be, it's me and my child with the most additional needs. And that means then that she can be coming back and forth, and that's cool. And then the other two are more of explorers, like my husband. So then they all stay in the same room together. So there's ways around it. It doesn't have to be on a plane. But also, I think that training the kids up to be somewhere different is actually quite good. So this is where actually starting with UK holidays would really work well. I think Jess in the office, who is actually who I was talking about earlier, because she's been live before about doing the divide and conquer. She concurs and says divide and conquer 100%. Um, oh yeah, early check-ins. Now this is a good thing. A lot of places don't do early check-ins or late checkouts. Is that something that you cater for?
Yeah, so I'll speak particularly for our charity-owned holiday homes because it's just much easier. So yeah, so it's one of those things where we never know what we're going to walk into. So Mal and I, again, to keep the costs down, we manage the caravans ourselves. So we'll go up every Friday and Monday and we'll turn the caravans. So we say it's a 4 o'clock check-in. I can't remember the last time it was ever a 4 o'clock check-in. But that's purely because we don't know what we're walking into. We've got a lot of equipment in there. Sometimes it needs a bit of fixing. Sometimes things need replacing. And if we have got a safe space bed up, that needs completely dismantling. And it's a big, as I say, big piece of equipment, and the beds need bringing back in. But generally, we've been doing it a few years now, so we've got it off to a bit of a fine art. So generally, our check-ins are between kind of 12, 2 at the latest. It's always easier if for any reason, I mean, we do have a high occupancy rate. So it's not often that the van's empty kind of the week before. If that is the case, you can definitely facilitate, much earlier check-in. But it's just kind of contacting us and letting us know. And if we can, then absolutely we will. And we have had families that stay in our Spectrum partners accommodation that also have been able to get early check-ins. And it's just one of those things that it's same with any holiday home provider. You just don't know what you're walking in. So we give a check-in time to give enough time just in case there's any major disasters, which thankfully we've never had yet. But just in case, yeah. So just in case. But generally, yeah, early check-ins aren't much of an issue. And again, a late checkout, and that's one of those things like it does take time to clean the van with time. But again, there's two of us and we've done it for a while now, so we're kind of okay with it. But so if we can get a late checkout, if we can arrange that, then it's totally fine. Our checkout standard at the minute is 10 o'clock because then obviously we need to turn it around to get people checked in within a few hours generally. So but it's just about communicating that, and if we can help, if we can offer that, then for sure, yeah.
And it is so clean. Like, I don't think I've got OCD, but I think as somebody with ADHD, where I have a really high sensory thing going on, I smell and see everything. And one of the things that I notice, because I always check it out, like the minute I go into any hotel room, any new caravan, I'm like checking. And I usually take my cleaning products with me. I
Yeah.
promise I do not have OCD. I just like clean stuff. And I take my stuff with me. And I was like, I remember my husband going, haha, you don't need to use it because it's so clean.
Yeah, so I mean, we literally do a deep clean, but Mal is he'll choose the cleaning products. He's like, no, we have to have that for the bathroom. We have, and I'm like, that's totally fine. Clean. So yeah, but it's and it is important because I think it's important anyway to offer somebody a clean holiday home. But I think as well, we have so many Spectrum partners that we wouldn't want our holiday homes to impact on theirs or any other way around. And it's one of the conversations we have with our Spectrum partners. We have to be mindful that we're all in this together, and yeah, so it's important that that they're clean anyway. do spend a lot of time cleaning them and getting them set back up again. And again, we're changing whole themes sometimes. So, we're taking out themes and we're putting themes in. And I
Mm.
wouldn't even mention the storage in the back of the caravan and what that looks like. But yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, because you have got a lot of storage at the back.
Oh, yeah. So, well, and my mom's like, why do you keep offering more themes? And I'm like, just because. Because I want Harry Potter in there. So
Because I want the theme.
yeah. So we do have, so we did at one point keep them all in our house, and honestly, we didn't have space for our things. It was all the caravan things. And when you think we've got two and they're three beds, how much bedding and how much linen we go through, the washing, the ironing, and all of that, and it takes up so much time. Thankfully, my mum is amazing and she now does the linen and laundry, so we don't have that cost. So we've moved it to the caravan and we've tried to keep that organized, but the back storage is just so many boxes of different themes and it's just a bit crazy, but yeah.
It's brilliant. I mean, to keep on top of it all, it's hard enough just doing your own house when you're busy, To keep on top of all of that, oh my God, absolutely incredible. But today's been brilliant because there was so much that I didn't know. I thought that I knew you guys really well. There's so much I didn't know, and I hope that it's really empowered other people to know that it's possible. It's
Yeah.
possible to go on holiday. It doesn't always have to be, particularly at the moment, by the way, it's red hot out there. It's like being abroad. We don't need to go abroad.
And also just to very quickly say that even if that's not with us, we're not precious in that way. And we say that to holiday homeowners, the more, accessible holiday homeowners around the UK can make their holiday homes, even without our support, that can only benefit. I mean, we have an autistic child, so benefit us, but benefit all families. And that's also kind of the message that we want to share as well. Um,
Yeah.
but we do offer support to holiday homeowners that don't necessarily sign up with us. We'll still, give them some help along the way. So yeah, so even if that's not with us, there are holiday homeowners that we'll be able to give some more help and some additional support.
Just amazing. It's just amazing. And I think it's the thing that gets forgotten about because as send families, we get the sloppy seconds, we get the terrible school sites, we get the terrible, when people say, oh, a new autism group has started up, and then you look at where it is and you're like, is that a shed that was about to be demolished? Like we always get the sloppy seconds. So it's amazing that, this is high-end stuff. This is what I cannot stress enough that these are not sloppy second holidays. They
Yeah.
are like first class holidays. If we were booking to go into a caravan again, we would be coming to you guys because it's across the board the best. And my kids continue to talk about it. They absolutely love it. So, um, but yeah, I mean, it's been an absolute joy today, Sophia, and we
It's
need to do
lovely
this again because it's been brilliant.
Yeah,
Really
definitely.
brilliant. And if anybody wants the details for Spectrum Holidays, please do comment. Just put Spectrum Holidays, we'll give you all the details. And by all means, contact Sophia and let her know if there's anything that she can do for you.
Yeah,
But
absolutely, definitely. Always on the end of an email or a message or anything. Yeah.
you're bonkers.
I
You're
know.
bonkers. Well, I'm hopefully going to see you again soon. I'm sure I will. But thank you so, so much. It's been a delight.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
See you later. Bye.